we are live. So Tina is going to tell you the pros of Lofty. Again, I picked Lofty because she picked Lofty. I was like, she's smart. She loves teaching. She doesn't. Most teachers talk over your head and they think they're good teachers. She talks right down to my barely graduate high school level. And she does that with everybody, whatever level they're on, she speaks to them that way. So that's why I picked Lofty, but she's a heck of a teacher. I can tell you this, y'all are going to be upset that y'all didn't have some of your team here today because you're like, man, they needed to hear this because she's that good at teaching it. I got to watch her do this last Tuesday in Highland Village or Flower Mound. Where were we?
Flower Mound, right on the cusp.
Yeah. And so she already taught this in Flower Mound, and she's really good at getting you to move. And that's what great teachers do. They don't try to teach you everything. They get you to move. They get you to take action. A great teacher does that. Sometimes they think they're great teachers, but by telling you everything, that's not a great teacher. Great teacher will give you just enough to where it kind of makes you a little angry, and you got to go do it yourself. Y'all with me? Yeah. And Tina's really good at that. So please give her a hand. Come on up, Tina.
Hey guys. I'm so grateful to come. I do wish we had a bigger crowd today, but you all are in for a treat. It almost makes it better because you're going to get some one-on-one. And the next time we do a follow-up one of these, I would encourage you to bring your laptop. Okay. So you're going to, if you don't have it, that's fine. If you do have it, you might pull it up to the background. We're not going to break out for you guys to do everything along while we're doing it. But I don't know about you, but sometimes when I put my eyeballs on something at the same time, I can remember it. How many of you have ever gone to a class, you hear all these amazing things and they sound awesome. And you're like, it's so easy. When I get home, I'm going to remember all of that. I'm going to implement all of that. And then you get home and you're like, I don't even know how to sign on. You know, I don't know, but that's happened to me. But like Paul said, with the XP and like Daniel mentioned, we do have the blessing of being able to choose from 3 different CRMs. And so today I'm going to go into some basics. So regardless of what CRM, you're going to be able to go into yours and do this. My name is Tina Bryant. As you saw, as Paul said, I've been doing real estate for over 20 years. Background before that of designing and building custom homes. I love the creative aspect of that. I do love teaching, but that's not my why. My why is I love enabling people to be the best version of themselves that the Lord has gifted them to be. Okay, and we're realtors. So if I can help give you guys some tools, I mean, in real estate, and when you're helping a client, you have to have the right tools. When I was designing, building homes, I had to have the right tools. And guess what? When you go and you see all these beautiful homes, like everybody goes with a different eye. Personally, when I go to look at these homes, I'm not looking at the beautiful counters and the backsplash and the wood floors. I'm looking at structurally because I'm thinking, how was this thing built? You know, how are the bones of it? When I would design homes, you had to have a plan in order to design that home. But once you had the plan, then you had to figure out, okay, where am I going to put it on the lot? What perspective do I want to have? And what CRM you chose today or in the last few weeks or whenever you did is going to kind of help you determine what perspective you're going to have on helping these clients and what tools are at your disposal, right? If I had a contractor come out and they messed up on the foundation, it didn't matter how amazing all the rest of the trades were. If I don't get the foundation right, then the rest is going to be heavily impacted. That's why what Daniel was saying was so important. If you don't choose your broker correctly, it's going to impact every other decision you make. It's going to impact your input. It's going to impact your output, right? It really does matter who you surround yourself with. And so this is just one little tool. I always say I can have 1,000 tools in my toolbox, but if I don't know how to use them, they're just worthless, right? They really are. I mean, I love construction. I absolutely love it. But if I have a new tool, a new gadget, and I can't use it, it's worthless. EXP has given us 3 CRMs. They're going to be amazing for you if you know how to use it. So today we're going to get into a little bit of the basics. And we're not going to be able to get into everything that you can do with your CRM. Just there is not enough time. So today I'm going to help you with your foundation, okay, so to speak, right? And so if you can get on your computer and you can go to, and I'll show you this, I'll skip down a little bit, but you want to go to crm.lofty.com if you have Lofty. If you have one of your others, you can go into your EXP Enterprise and you will see all the different blocks of all the things that we can choose from. You will not see a block that says Lofty. It's going to be whatever CRM you chose. So if you chose Close, you're going to see an option to click on that. If you chose Bold Trail, you're going to click on that. Okay. But because I chose Lofty, I do not have access to Bold Trail or Close anymore, right? I only have, but some of these things I'm showing you are going to pertain no matter what CRM you chose. And I'm just going to be honest, some of them don't because you chose a different one. There's pros and cons to each one. All right. So I'm going to back up just a little bit and we're going to get into these. But most agents don't even have a CRM. Most don't even know what a CRM is. And I'm going to be honest, true confession, for probably 17 out of 20 some years of my real estate career, I did not utilize a CRM. Okay, I took great notes. I had a spreadsheet. I kept up with things. I'm a detail-oriented person. But when this really came to a head, to be honest, I had a lady who came to me and she wanted a log cabin. And I'm thinking to myself, and of course I'm writing in my notebook, here's the person, what her price point, what her location is, you know, and that she wanted a log cabin. Well, how many log cabins do we have in DFW? Okay. Usually 0. All right. So I'm thinking, I'm going to remember this lady. She sticks out. She's not a typical 3-2 in a high density subdivision for $300,000, right? So months go by and oh my gosh, I'm on the MLS and all of a sudden there's a log cabin for sale. I'm like, oh my gosh, I finally found a log cabin for this lady. I could not find the notebook that I wrote down her name and number. And I was livid at myself because I just knew I was going to be the person to help her find this dream house of a log cabin. So that was a deal that fell through the cracks. It was a lost lead, which meant a lost closing. And also I didn't nurture her. So she was a lost relationship. And if you know me, that is highly, highly, highly important to me, is to build relationships. Okay. And so fast forward, I was a different small brokerage before, and I had a CRM that I bought. I had to purchase it, and it was $999 a month, $1,000 a month for my CRM. It was worth every penny I had because I could call, nurture, follow up, lead gen, have automations, all kinds of things I'm going to show you that you're able to do because I started using it. Then I went to EXP 2.5 years ago, and we had a free CRM. So I'm like, oh, why spend $1,000? I'm going to put that money in my pocket. I'm going to use KV Core. Okay, no offense to KV Core, but I hated it personally because it did not do anything that I was used to my CRM doing with a agent-friendly scope for what I wanted it to do. It may be amazing for other people, but for what I was used to using. And so for 1.5 years, I underutilized my CRM. And so when we got these 3 options, trust me, I researched all 3 of them to know what can they do? What will they not do? That's just as important as what they do as what they won't do. What is my business model? What's right for me might not be right for you. That might be the most amazing CRM that you need. You need a different one. You need a different one. And it's not good or bad. It's just different, right? You might have a Dell. You might have some other computer. It's not bad. It's just different. It's how we use it. So what we're going to do today is I'm not going to go through all these slides. They are not important. What is important is helping you get going on these, on your CRM system. Whoops, hold on. Where is my I just had it pulled up. Oh, here's where I went. Okay, I was looking up something else for you guys. I'm going to show you later. Okay, so like I said, we're going to start in a foundation. We want you guys to have a foundation. If you do some of the things we're going to talk about today, trust me, it's going to be a great building block. So then you can have the framework, and then you can have the electrical, and then you can have the plumbing, and then you can have all the pretty stuff that people go when they see a house, right? But none of that matters if you don't get the basics set up. So we're going to go through this today. I could be here for a week. We're not going to do that today. Okay?
That's next week.
So we're going to start. The very first thing is for you. How many of you have gone into your settings and set up your settings in your CRM? Okay. Have you set up all of your settings? Okay. So we have a few. So I'm not gonna camp on everything in the settings within this, but I am gonna take some time to just run through some because maybe you missed a few or maybe you need to tweak a few. Okay. So the first thing is make sure, obviously, that you have your profile set up, that you're in this time zone, that you put in your what MLS we're working in, that you want to make sure you put in the Netris marketplace that we are pulling MLS information from, because that's what's going to show up for all of your clients to be able to see and utilize when they go to your site. The second thing is, do you have any social media? If you have any social media, then you're going to want to link it to any of these. Okay. All right. So without taking the time to go through each one of these and links, literally, if you wanted to link it to YouTube and you have a YouTube channel, you're just going to click on the add something and you're going to add your channel there. Okay. So easy peasy. Now that's the easy part. You're like, well, that's boring. The other thing is make sure when you do changes that you always come down to the bottom and pick save. All right. I know that's minor, but then the next thing we're going to go into is your account. All right. Do you want a two-factor authentication? I would say yes. You know, we are getting people's phone numbers, emails, sometimes their vital information. If anybody hacks into your computer, we want to make sure that they're not getting private information that they're not supposed to have. Okay. So make sure you have a two-factor authentication on your computer. And I will just say, just for yourself, because Apple ID loves to cut you out of things. Always have a two-factor. That's a side note, a whole nother story, another day. And then down here, I would say make sure that you allow access to your CRM. If you ever need support, that way with your approval, they don't just go in there randomly and do stuff, right? But if you need them to help you, they can literally go in and help you. So if you haven't, go ahead and check that these two options can apply. Okay, so we're going through the very basics and we'll get into the nitty-gritty here in a minute. The next thing you need to go through is all of your notifications. You get to come through and you get to customize how you want these. So in other words, if somebody goes to your website and they look up a property, do you want to be notified by a phone call, a text, or a push notice? Okay, those push notices are like from 76243 and it has, you know what I mean? So you can decide how you want these, and literally all you're doing is just clicking, unclicking. It's that easy. But I would say take your time, go through every single one of these things. If somebody comes to a new pond, in other words, a new group of thing, how do you want to be notified? If somebody is in a new transaction, how do you want to be notified? If you do a property boost and you have 123 Elm for sale and you do a property boost through your CRM, and if we have time, we'll go into that today, and then you get a lead from it, how do you want to be notified about that lead? Do you want to call, text, or email? And again, these choices are available to you based on the CRM you chose. Okay, so if you don't see boost, post, promotion on yours, it may be because they may or may not have it. Most do. Okay. So that's easy, right? Do your notifications. So in your note taking, if you haven't done that, this is very imperative. How do you want to be contacted? And then integrations. Lofty has an amazing integration with a lot of different systems. So if you have Gmail, you want to connect it with your Gmail. That way I don't have to go into Lofty and look at all my emails here. And then I go to Gmail and I look here. And if you have multiple Gmail accounts, of course, you can sync those two so they all come into one place. And same thing with your calendar or Calendly, you can definitely link those. The beauty in that too is you can create a calendar and you can have people schedule meetings with you right through the CRM. So if they go into your website and they see this beautiful house on Walnut Lane, like, oh my gosh, I'd love to see that. They literally can schedule an appointment through your CRM, if your CRM allows that, and they can see your calendar. So you can choose if you want them to book through your website or not. And if so, it won't book somebody at 11 a.m. on a Wednesday because you can go in and already block off that as to what your private calendar is. They're not going to see your private calendar and they go, oh, well, let's see, she's having her hair done at 2. They're not going to see that. They're going to see the open spaces that you have for appointments, and you can customize that. So definitely sync it with your calendar. That's definitely helpful and time saving. You can scroll through all these, whether you want it to sync with Office 365. If you have Outlook, you can sync it with that. BombBomb, if you send out a lot of videos, but you can look all these different options. And some of these you might not have a need. Like I don't sync it with DocuSign. I use SkySlope, right? So I don't have a need to sync this with DocuSign. I don't need, we got PandaPack, but I don't need PandaDoc, right? So just go through them. Zapier is a whole nother, that's a whole nother class. But Zapier does an amazing job. You might want to research this one a little more because you can actually take all of your software and all of your apps and so forth, and it does an amazing job of meshing those together and helping them all work together. It will blow your mind. It blew my mind of all the things it can do for you. And so anyway, self-explanatory on the rest of those, right? So those are your integrations. So then the next part is going to be your settings, all right? And your organization. So as you can see, these people are EXPers, but you can sort and organize according to that. We're going to skip that and go on into reporting because this is more important. So you can set up a business goal. So whatever you do, let's say, your business goal is $10 million. Oops, hold on. You just come over here and say, I want it to be $10 million. And then how many closings do you want to do? 30, literally. And the reason this is important is once you put in all of your different goals of what you want your gross commission or whatever, and I need to go in and put in mine because I've been teaching, I need to put back all in mine. Then you can say to yourself, like, we're in October, January's coming. So we're literally preparing now for what you're going to do in 2026. Like we're ending and we want to finish strong, but also what we do right now is going to help us carry into being ready on January 1 to hit it and get it, right? So what are your goals for next year? And then as you say, well, I want to have so many calls or so many emails or so many tasks complete. You can put in this or not put in this, right? But at a minimum, I would say, what do you want to do in gross revenue and commissions earned and how many closings and revenue? Because then as you do these transactions and you put them in, it's going to help. You can literally track your progress along the year, right? The other thing it's going to do is you'll see some different reminders and tasks and things that we can put in automatically. So it will help prompt you and help you reach those goals while you're going. You can also, that's annual, you can go to monthly, you can review your goals, etc., all in this same tab. And so as you can see, based on what you put in as your goal, then it's going to break it down. If I want that many gross commission and I need that many closings, then your numbers are going to modify based on what you put in as your goal. All right. If you had a team, for instance, you could also have your team in here. And so you can say, you know, well, the team goal is X, and then the sub team, then here's each person's goals within that team. Okay. Next, let's go on to communication. How many of you all are using AI right now in your business? Okay. What would you say is the most frequent thing you're doing to use AI?
Writing my social media posts.
Okay.
Emails.
Emails?
Emails and text.
Okay. Emails and text?
Emails.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to show you some awesome automations here in a minute, and AI is going to be your friend to be able to customize those to you. But I'm going to share, just as a side note, something I did the other day with AI. So I thought, okay, I need to get out of the property description and the email and the post. I want to do something broader. So I literally went into AI and I said, okay, we have this property and here's all the things. We own this property and this is what, when we bought it, how we bought it. This is I want you to determine equity. I'm an independent realtor. My husband is an employed person. This is what we do. This is what we invest in. This is what our interest rates are, da, 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 da. This is stocks. This is what we have. And I literally just dumped information. And then I said, I want you to give me your recommendations on how to best utilize my equity in my properties, how to best use my retirement options, how to best use, I mean, like I got the best, like if I had gone to my accountant or my attorney for the amount of information I got in 30 minutes while I was watching football, seriously, it was unbelievable. I told my husband, oh my gosh, we need to change this and have this trust set up like this and this LLC like this and this LLC feed into this LLC. Like, you will be blown away of the stuff you learn. And guess what? When you learn, then you can help your clients. You have more tools to help your clients. Like, I don't do a CRM because it's fun. I do it because it frees me up to be out interacting with people. I don't want to be constructing emails. I want to get most of this done on the front end, which is not fun. Digging the footings for a foundation is not fun. I've watched those guys do it. I am a definite DIYer. If you knew all the stuff I've done, trenches for water, sewer, last week I took out a sink for a client. I mean, like, I'm a DIYer. But what I love is to be able to set up systems so that I'm not having to work, so that it can do the ick part for me so that I can be out. So definitely we're going to use AI. So why use AI? Well, because you have automation. So right now, in Lofty, there are some versions where you have to purchase to use AI. But here's a cheat, so to speak. You can go to your Chat GPT that you have for free, or the $20 a month version, which I suggest the $20 a month. You will totally get your money's worth. And you can take things that you copy and paste out of your CRM over to Chat GPT, get the answer, and put it back in for free, right? So if you already are using Chat GPT, you could utilize that. All right, we are going to go down to lead settings, because that, you guys get how you can do AI. All right, let's go down here. Come on. Okay, that's still going through all of that. Okay, I will show you, like I said, in this case, Lofty has a price for all these different services if you want it to be integrated into the CRM itself. For me, I use it outside of it because I'm already setting up that. So let's go. Why is it not bringing me?
Which one do you use?
I'm trying to get onto my lead settings.
Are you with the normal one, or did you add anything?
I'm just on the normal one. I didn't add it. I use it outside of it, but I'm trying to find out why this is not going on. Okay, okay, here we go. Lead capture. Do you guys utilize any of these options for lead gen? Like, where do most of your leads come from? Are you mostly referral based, or do you pay for leads? What works for you guys?
Referral.
Referral? Yeah. I'm definitely more referral based. And the funny thing is, I used to subscribe to realtor.com and I got leads because you paid for a zip code, and then you got leads from that zip code, but then they changed their whole model and it went to ridiculous pricing. So I didn't. A little hack there is, let's say if you're going to go to Frisco and the price per lead is pretty stiff in Frisco because they know it's a well sought out after area. There's a lot of agents assigned to that because there's a lot of inventory. If you subscribe to a zip code right outside of that hotspot, let's say Allen, might be a little cheaper. And how many people, when they first contact you, actually wind up buying in the exact city that they called you on? So even if they did call you about Allen, sometimes they wind up in Frisco. Or sometimes they call you about Frisco, they wind up in McKinney or somewhere, right? So if you ever pay for a lead gen source, I would just say, look at all your options outside the bubble that they're offering, because you might have some money savings in that. Okay. If you did use any of these lead gen sources, look at all these. I mean, goodness. Most of these you have to pay a fee for. But if you happen to pay for leads through these, you literally could integrate those leads to your website and your CRM, which is to say, if somebody went to realty.com, realtor.com, let's say realtor.com. If somebody went to realtor.com and you paid realtor.com to get those leads, then that means when they got that lead, their name, their email, their phone number, etc., all goes directly into your CRM. And based on the automations that you've set up, they could automatically receive a call or a text or an email or both, or market report or whatever you told it they wanted to have, right? So if you're doing any lead gen with these, you'll just want to click on it and sync it to your CRM. Okay. I personally don't, so none of those are linked. But if you do, you definitely don't want them separately. You want to merge them to make more use of your time. So let's get into your website. How many of you guys have set up your website? Okay. So with EXP, you get a free website. Now I'm going to tell you a couple caveats on your website. If you want to use the free website that EXP gave you, it's going to be your name. First name dot last name at exprealty.com. So tina.bryant at exprealty.com. I personally have my own company name. My branding is ntxhomesource.com. So if you have a company name that you go by, then you're going to have to pay for a vanity name one time through EXP. Okay. And you're going to have to make sure, if you call yourself something other than your name, you have to make sure that you have that registered at Trek. And then EXP has to know. So like Trek knows that I'm NTX Home Source Group. EXP knows that I'm NTX Home Source Group. I happen to have bought that name through GoDaddy. You can get them through different sources. I bought the URL, the address, through GoDaddy. So now that I want NTX Home Source to be my website, then there's some steps that you just want to contact your CRM and your source where you got your personal website, if you have a personal one, because you just have to tell GoDaddy and your website, hey, I need to give GoDaddy permission to use my website address on, in this case, Lofty. So Lofty makes sure they have permission to use NTX Home Source, right? And I'm not just using Paul R Us, but I don't have permission to use Paul R Us, right? So just have to make sure you're using a URL that you have authority to use. Yes, Paul.
You just came forward, because I like, I called out Roberts forwarded to my old KV4 website. You can't just do it forward without having to tell Trek and everybody.
So why are you forwarding it to your old website?
Well, I just haven't switched it to Lofty.
Okay.
Eventually, so let me just ask you this. I'll act like I already have. So I am forwarding calldallasroberts.com to Lofty right now. So
Okay.
I'll tell Trek and everybody, or just like good.
I wouldn't want to get in trouble with Trek because I want to make sure they know I'm doing business as whatever. So have you registered that Paul website with Trek?
No.
Okay, then you need to do that and your broker.
Really?
Yeah. So whenever you're not Tina Bryant, whenever you're not your name and you're doing business as another name, you have to have that registered through Trek and your broker.
What's my name?
So with EXP, your website is your name.
Oh, so I'm not worried about
So you don't have to worry about it.
Oh.
But let's say if you wanted to call it We Partners Are Awesome or whatever it is, right? That's a vanity name. So you have to do that with a vanity name.
Got it.
Okay?
Sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
So we used to use what's called the KV Core, and we have a website already. So we have to set up a brand.
What was your name of your website with KV Core?
It's just like my name, Vines Realty.
Okay. What was the name of it?
Vines Realty.
Okay. Alliance Realty?
Vines.
Vines?
Realty.
Okay. That is a vanity name.
Right.
Anything that is not your personal name on your Trek license, your driver's license, anything that's not that is a vanity name. That's the thing I'm saying. So if you have I'mAnAwesomeRealtor.com or whatever, the name of your business is, you have to register that with Trek and your broker. Whether or not you have a website or not, you need to have that known as.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean already.
But now that you're with Lofty,
Right.
where did you get your website name from?
GoDaddy.
Okay. So you're just going to contact GoDaddy and the Lofty support. And you're going to get a DNS number, and that way they can merge so that Lofty has permission from GoDaddy to use your vanity name.
Oh, okay. So it's do not just.
And you'll have
automatically-
to connect with EXP because you have to pay a one-time fee for that vanity name for Lofty to be able to use for Lofty to have the permission to use something besides your name, right? From your broker. That's the broker. All right. Does that make sense? Is everybody clear on that one spot?
Yes.
Now, here's the reason I spent some time on this. Yeah, Paul.
I think Lynn's asking. She has to rebuild another website in.
If you switched from Bold Trail to any other CRM, you're going to have to redo it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Because it's kind of like I moved from 123 Elm to 456 Walnut.
Right.
It's all the same furniture, but you moved, so you need to get it over here. Okay. So that's why it's important. You'll have to go through your settings again. I have to do all my automations again. It's not a just, move the name and click a button. You literally are going to have to go through all of these things and make sure it says what you want them. And we're going to go into the website. I really encourage you guys to use your website. All those lead source places that I showed you on the last slide, I don't want one lead or one client of mine going to realtor.com ever. I don't want them going to Zillow ever. You know why? Because if they go and they see all these properties and then they click on it and say they want more information, then Tina Bryant has no idea that they wanted more information on that property if they went through Zillow or whatever, right? Then if they click on it and they say they want it, guess what? We as agents, we pay to get leads from those sites, which is, we paid to put it in the MLS and then they took it from the MLS and now we're paying to get the leads from the very thing we put in that we paid to put in anyway, but that's a whole nother day, right? But if somebody goes to Zillow and they say they want to look at, 4727 Turtle Creek and they click on it and they want more info, guess what? They're going to get a buyer's agent who paid for that area. And now that person's going to get to follow up with them. I lost that opportunity. So every chance I get, I want to point people to my website. So this is very important that you get your website looking like you want and you get to customize it in your back office, here in this case at cmslofty.com or Bold Trail or Close. You get to choose what you want on the front picture. Do you want your logo? If you only have your name as your website, you will not have a logo. It'll be first name, last name. Okay? It'll have your EXP on it. Okay? Now, this is not what our clients are seeing, guys. This is what you're seeing in your CRM portion that helps you customize your website, right? So let's go into that a little bit. Let's say we want to customize it. Sorry, I don't need all that. Okay. So you can choose your logo just by clicking on it. You can edit it. You can provide agent information. If I want to link my bio, let's for say if you have a Google business page or something and you want to put your bio obviously on your website. And this is a way I used AI. I wrote out my bio so that it knew kind of what my background was. I copied it, pasted it, put it in ChatGPT, made it all beautified. I came up with a few versions, and then I put that on my website. I put that on my Google page, my business page, and that way when people are looking me up, they get the same information, right? So and then you can put this here in the back office. Now let's go into setting up your neighborhood pages. This is where you guys are going to have to choose how you want this information to lay out. So you can choose, you can put in your domain. Okay, in my case, because I have a vanity domain name, it's NTX Home Source. If you have your name, it's going to say firstnamelastname.com. Okay. I can choose, let's choose my organization, my company, my agents. If I have a lender partner and I want a lender to be able to have access to my leads, I can choose if I want them to have access to every one of my leads. I can choose if I want them to have access to only the leads I send to them. So let's say SurePath is now, I've linked SurePath over here under lenders. Okay, I'm going to put in their name, their contact info, etc. And then Susie Q comes in as a lead, and Susie Q needs to be pre-qualified. Then I could link all of Susie's contact information and literally just send it over to Daniel, and then Daniel can do whatever they need to do to help Susie Q get pre-qualified. But any information that Daniel texts, calls, or whatever Susie Q, because I've linked them to this, then I'll know. Like I didn't just pass it to her and now I'm in the blank of wanting to know where they are in that communication process. You can be aware of it, and so can the lender, right? So yes, SurePath, Daniel.
It stays in that text chain or email chain or I copy it in.
Yeah. So that's beautiful because, I mean, thankfully there are some amazing lenders around the area, and you need to decide, do you want to link a lender with your CRM? But how beautiful if you have 50 people in your CRM or 100 people in your CRM, don't you want them to get pre-qualified? Mm-hmm. If you have 2 people nurturing them and 2 people connecting with them and 2 people trying to get them qualified, then what are the chances of them converting from a cold lead to a warm prospect to an active client? Right?
Question.
So, yes.
Do we assign the lenders to the client?
Yes. So you can decide, do I want my lender to have access to anybody I put in my CRM, or do I want them to have access to, John, the homeowner that just reached out and wanted information? If you want, hey, I just want Daniel to have John, then he can have John.
And
if you want him to have all your open house leads, I got all these open house leads, and I'm going to share those contacts with John, with Daniel. So you're in control as to what you're sharing with your lender. Okay. And again, if you guys have a different CRM than what you're seeing here, just know that, what's available to you. Go through your settings. In your settings, you're going to have all these different things that you need to set up. And this is not a fun day in the office. I'm not going to lie. This is like nails on a chalkboard to think through all these details, right? But once you get it set up, it's going to work for you when you're sleeping, when you're awake. And we're not even to the best part. Same thing with vendors. If you have a vendor list, you could put them in here. I personally don't put my vendor list in here, but you could if you have your favorite inspector, plumber, surveyor, whatever it is you want to put in there. Let's go to featured areas. I think it's very important to have featured areas in your website because when people go to look at yours, and let's just go over here to mine real quick. And true confession, mine's been moved around a little bit since I've been doing some training. I need to go in next week and like get it back to kind of how to have, but this is my website, okay? You have to have EXP on there because obviously they're your broker. Okay, there's my logo. You can adjust some of these tabs at the top if your CRM allows you to do that. But see how this flows from one section to the other? You get to choose the order that these are all put in. Yours is going to look different than mine. You can choose the picture. You can customize the order. You can customize what you want in it, why you want it, what you want it to say. All these different aspects. You can feature your listings that you currently have. You can find out if they want to know for sellers what their home is worth, etc. Right? So you want to be the source of information that they go to, so you can literally add more of these features in your website. And why wouldn't you? So again, we can go another day, but one of the things you can tell the system is, hey, every time I get someone who wants to know what their home is worth, you're going to not only send them a CRM of what their home is worth, it's going to have marketing details or a buyer. Hey, this is all the schools. These are the best restaurants. This is the walkability. This is the geographical, this setup. This is the, how many rent versus buy owners are in the area. It goes into so much detail. So when you say, for instance, South Lake, they're going to get more information on South Lake because these are areas that these are all just different. If you have, let's say, Frisco, Allen, Plano, wherever you do business, right? If those are your key areas, then you're the go-to source for those areas. And they'll be able to get all this with the touch of a button where they literally just click on the picture that says South Lake and it'll show them a myriad of information. It's all built into your CRM system. Okay.
And so, for example, when someone comes and say, I do want to know the value of my house and what's the address, then it notifies you and you do manually, or the system does it for them?
So the system will do it for you and or manually. So somebody goes to your website and they say, I want to know what your home is worth. And they live at
123 Main Street.
123 Main Street, right? In McKinney. All right. So then you're going to get a notification based on if you told the system, do you want to call, text, or push, that Susie Q wants to know what her home is worth. Okay. And then based on the automations you've put on the back end, which we haven't gotten to that section, you can tell it what you want to send out first, second, third, first day, in 2 hours, in 5 hours, in 5 days, whatever. You set up how often, when, and what they get. Okay. Which is beautiful. And the CRM is pretty hefty. It's not just like you go to the MLS and get that, express quick CMA. Okay. It's really visual and beautiful. So go in and pick the areas that you want to add. So literally it's this, you say that I want Frisco, and I want Frisco, Texas. And then you can decide if you want certain subdivisions. Maybe you wanted to do a specific subdivision and you wanted to be the guru champion in that subdivision and you wanted to just do it. Or you could say, nope, I just want pretty much Frisco everywhere. So then, great, I want Frisco. You can come in here and, of course, add it, edit, whatever. Now I'm going to show you why this is important. Let's go to my website. So somebody's coming down. Okay, I must have taken that out of the last training. Huh. I'm glad I saw this. So normally, just like this, there would be literally a screen and it would have Frisco, Plano, Allen in a picture. I am so glad I saw this. I had all those in my system. I'll have to go back in. But, and clients are going to click on that. They're going to get their information. You're going to get the lead. It's going to go in your CRM automatically. Okay. So how many of y'all have put in any kind of featured area? I say try to pick at least 3 featured areas. If you can, get up to 6. So where do you guys primarily do business? Okay.
Oh, you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Richardson area.
Richardson?
North Dallas, because that's just closer to me.
I get it. So why would you just want a generic website when you could promote Richardson also on it? Because that's where you're not going to put Mansfield on there, right? Because you don't want to drive to Mansfield. So highlight Richardson. And then if you like doing business around there, then what cities around Richardson would you also like to highlight?
North Dallas,
Right.
Addison, Plano.
Now here's a trick too. Most of us are not selling in Dallas proper. Is there anybody here that's selling in Dallas proper? Like I just sold 2 listings down there, but only because they were referral clients, not because I'm promoting myself to be a Dallas agent all the time. But you have to think about the rest of the US. They don't know where Little Elm is. They don't know where Richardson is usually. They know where Dallas is. So if they can find you for Dallas, and maybe Dallas is one of those featured cities, but then you also have Richardson, because you got to get them to come to the table before they can eat, right? And so make sure when you're putting in your keywords and your key locations of where you're a referral partner, whether it's on the EXP Global referral, whatever, use your anchor chain, so to speak, of Dallas, just because people around the world know where Dallas is. Okay. If you put in Little Elm, then that means if people are out in Wyoming and they're looking for a house in the DFW area, they're not going to know to put in Richardson. Usually they have to ask you, the agent, what are some areas that have, and you'll go, oh, Richardson, right? So just a little trick when you do your featured areas. All right, we're going to go back up here and we're going to go to, let's see what time it is. Too much to go to in too little time. Okay. Let me scroll down here real quick. Let me look at actually, I'm going to go back to this. I wanted to show you guys something real quick on this. It's really key down here is, do you see where it says edit forced registration settings? It's important that you come in here and set these out. So somebody goes to your website and they're looking on the main page, right? So let's say you went to Amazon and you wanted to look up something that you could buy in Amazon. Do you want Amazon to ask you your name, email, and phone number before you ever look at something? Okay, so that's page 1. So they're not forcing you to give information. In Amazon, they actually have you look, buy, add to cart, add to cart. Do you want to add more to cart? Are you sure you don't want more to cart, more to cart? And then they ask you for your name, address when you're having it shipped. But a lot of websites that you go to, once you click on the website and then maybe the second thing you look at or maybe it's the 3rd. Have you ever noticed that then they want you to put on your name, phone number, and email?
Right.
It's because right here, you've had to register when you want to trigger them to say, all right, I want them to look at my homepage. I want them to look at maybe one other thing, but then they're going to have to look. Then I'm going to get to know their information. So back to my website as an example. Okay, so they come to this and they're like, hey, they don't have to register and they don't have to sign in, right? And then maybe they come down here on another part and they want to search for properties. Do I want them to be able to search for properties and actually put in their filters before I give them their name, get their name, phone number? You choose how many things they get to look at before you get their information. And then you're also telling it, what do you want to capture? For me personally, I want their name, first and last. I want an email and I want a phone number, because that's how I can best, and they won't always give it, but that's what I require. Okay. So definitely go into that setting, tell it what you want to do regarding lead capture, go into the settings and tell it what you want. Okay. What you want and when you report. Any questions on that?
What do you feel like is a best practice?
I try to do it in step 2 or 3.
Okay.
Just because it really ticks me off personally if I can't get some information. Like if they're just looking at general information on my website, I don't require it. When they start saying a specific, can you send me the homes that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'd love to be able to follow up with you with that, right? Can I know what my home's worth? I absolutely want to know your name, email. So when they start clicking on things where they want specific information, that's when I want to get their personal information. That's just me. And so however you set up your website depends on however much you're giving them for free. But once they start, so you get to choose that in your CRM. So like I'm saying, this is not a one morning thing and then you guys are done. And due to time, we're not going to be able to get into all this, but you can see where if you go in and you get all your settings done. Number 1, if you have a vanity name, that's number 1, then all your settings. Number 2, go to your website tab right here, customize your website. Okay. What pictures do you want? What sections do you want? And it gives you a drop-down menu. You literally can check on the option you want and slide it over. And if you don't like that order and you go, oh, I really wish that was second, you don't have to undo it. You just click the up or down button and tell it what you want to do. I want it to be third. I want it to be second. And so customize your website. And then we're going to have a whole nother class on automations, because literally that is an entire class. In other words, when you get this lead, what's the trigger? So I get a buyer lead. What do I want to do with it? I want an automatic text to go out to say, hey, Bob, thanks so much for reaching out. I'm with a client right now, but I'll call you later today, or whatever you want that initial call, text, or email to say. Then what do you want to go out in 5 minutes, in 2 hours, in 3 days, in 5 days, in 7 days? And it's nurturing your client for you. The thing that I love about Lofty, and I will show you this, and some of your CRMs don't allow this, but I will say, this is one reason why I love this, is because on people, do you see these scores over here? This just happens to be page 20 out of my leads. And in Lofty, if you have this, you can rearrange all of these columns. So if you want this over here or that over there, what you can see. The other thing I love is it shows me a score. So in this particular, those scores are not very high, right? But if someone has been to your website, or they've looked at a property multiple times, or they've responded to an email, or they've responded to a text, all these are engagement signs. So the more they've been engaged, the higher their score. And you can sort these by last lead that came in, highest score, location, price. The other thing I love is I can literally, what I'm in the middle of doing is I want to see their name personally. I want to see their email and phone. I love that these are in one box. I don't have to waste a column for each one. I want to see their location, their price point, and their timeline. Because I really could care less that it says Tina Bryant. I know I'm Tina Bryant. So with Lofty, you can go in and remove columns if you don't want them, or you can move them way over here to where you have to scroll over if you need to see that information. But what do you want to see when you first go to this, right? So I point that out to where if you have Lofty, pay attention to your lead scores. When you come up, it's going to show you your tasks. At the top, you can see today's new leads, today's opportunities, who I haven't contacted, who I need to touch. Why waste your time on somebody that has a lead score of 44 if you have 27 of them that have a lead score of 90 and above? Because the 90 and above are people who are most likely to do something now. And these people, if you set out all of your automations, they're getting touches, they're getting texts, they're getting emails, they're getting market updates, they're getting property updates, right? Because we set that up in our system. Another class, another day, okay? But does that help you guys at least get the foundation? So when we get back next Wednesday, I'm going to say, how many of y'all worked on getting your foundation done? Because we're not picking out countertops yet, right? We're not getting the beautiful light fixtures and the linens and the dishes.
Come on.
This is the grunt work of the foundation. But trust me, once you get this in place, and then next we'll get our automations, then while you guys are here, your CRM is working for you. When you're out to dinner, your CRM is working for you. When you're sleeping, it's working for you. When you're out doing things with people one-on-one, it's working for you. And you won't forget the log cabins that come along because it's in there. The beautiful thing about your CRM is if I call somebody on my personal cell phone, Lofty doesn't know that I called Maritza on my cell phone. But if I call her through my system, then it knows that I called Maritza today on October the 8th at 11:59. It will record what our conversation was or what the text was or what the email was. So when I go back to my contact person of Maritza, it's all right there. I didn't have to waste my time going, well, you know, I called Daniel and I usually call either one. And now I have to go into my CRM and say, today's date, you know, and then this is what I called them, or nope, I emailed them and this is what I said. And this is my follow-up. Your CRM can do all that for you. So back in the settings on that first profile page, it asks you for a phone number. If you want it to use your phone number, it's not going to track all that. If you use the website phone number, which you can choose which number you want associated to you, and you call it through the system, those are going to come. When you get a response, it's going to come to your cell phone, just like that person dialed your cell phone directly. But now it's going to record it into your CRM. But not unless you set it up in your settings. Okay? So another class, another day. But do you guys feel like you can go set up your settings and get your website set up?
Yes.
Okay? Step 1, step 2. Step 3, if you have a domain, we covered that. Are we all good?
Okay.
All right. Good luck with that, you guys.
Thank you.
Now, we are all good, Daniel. Thank you so much.